the Fresno Focus Radio Hour. This is the No Focus Radio Hour. Comedy and insight from the greatest minds in Fresno. A Lightomine Media production.
Oh my gosh, guys, we're back. That's right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. We do thank you for listening and returning after all this time, and thank you for telling a friend. The No Focus Radio Hour is available anywhere podcasts can be found, including YouTube, Rumble, and your home smart speakers. Please remember to subscribe and leave a review. That helps others discover our show. But while you're reviewing, keep in mind that 5 stars is the correct number of stars. If you enjoy our show, please share it with your friends. But if you hate it, share it with your enemies. Check out our site, nofocusradio.com. There you can get exclusive content. You can vote on old polls. You can do a whole lot of stuff. We got fun stuff there. Check it out. There's also links to some fun other podcasts like Pardon the Intermission and some other things that we do. So check that out. Hit us up on social media. Find the rest of our stuff at lightominemedia.com.
Fast as I can. Gonna hit the ground running. Oh, I think I pulled a hamstring. It's been too long. Fresno. Oh, wow.
Oh, gosh. That took a lot
I gotta
out
be
of
careful
me.
with that running.
Took a lot out of me. Oh, my goodness.
Gotta
That's
stretch.
right.
I gotta stretch.
Don't twist the hammy there.
This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. It's made for those who live in the Central Valley, for those who miss the Central Valley, those who long to live in the Central Valley, and for those who
love to pay $5 a gallon now for gas in the
Yikes.
Central Valley.
the nightmare.
Yeah, $6
We
if you live in the
have-
greater metropolitan Southern California
Yeah.
area.
We do have a beautiful cast of characters with us today.
Yes.
It's not the beautiful cast of characters, but it is
A.
beautiful cast of characters with us. We have with us, as always, the Doorman.
Hey, it's been a while, but we're back.
Yes,
We're back.
I'm
It feels
excited.
good. Feels
It does.
good.
For a second there, I forgot. I thought I forgot to hit the record button. So
Oh,
I was worried.
Oops.
I was
Well,
like, does red mean go or does red mean?
it's been a while.
Stop.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it feels good to be
Thanks.
back. It's like riding a bike that's flipped over and
Yeah.
had a couple of flat tires and some bent rims, but we're doing
We're
it.
doing it. We're back.
We're doing it.
We do want to thank everybody who was listening and for still having that little subscribe button checked in your podcast
There you go.
app of choice. We also have with us a special guest. You've heard him before. He is from Pardon the Intermission.
Yeah,
His name
baby.
is Jason. What's you don't really have a nickname.
I know. We tried to get him last
Jason,
time.
the Jace Master.
The J-Man. We call him the
Yeah.
J-Man.
Call me the J. Unfortunately, I have one of those first names where it's not easy to come up with a nickname
Right.
or a pseudonym or anything
Yeah,
else.
it's pretty tough.
So I'll just say this. When I used to work in radio, I had a lot of guys that would call me Big J.
Big
Ooh.
J.
So just call me
Big
Big
J.
J.
I
Just
like
call me.
it.
I'm 6'3", 198 pounds. So just
Yeah.
call me Big J.
All muscle.
All right.
I'm all muscle, all lean, and no meat. Hardly some meat, but I'm there.
I'm 5'7" and 198 pounds. Is that a...
Hey, wait a minute. What's going on here?
Well, hey, that 5'7" is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend.
I am
Big guy.
ecstatic
He
to be
controls.
back. I am ecstatic to be back on No Focus Radio Hour. Looking forward to spending some time with you guys. And
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
we have an appearance of Johnny Knobs coming back. That's what I'm looking for.
Yes, yeah, Knobs. He's back. He's around.
Yeah,
Good.
so the one, the only,
Yeah.
the mammoth legend, Johnny
Hi.
Knobs.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, when I was when we were on a hiatus there, and I'll let
Yeah.
you get into that story as
Okay.
to what's going on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
People were coming up left and right in Fresno, and they're like, "Hey, where have you guys been?" And
Yeah.
and this and that. And I said, "Well, we've been a little busy." But they also asked Johnny Knobs. I never knew how that guy
Yeah.
got his name. How did he get his name?
It's actually a very true story.
Yeah?
When I was, I was probably, if I remember correctly, probably 6 or 7. 6 or 7.
Okay.
I got nothing. I was eating cinnamon graham crackers.
You're at the wind farm?
I was at the wind farm eating cinnamon
On the
graham
ocean.
crackers, and I turned these. I saw these buttons. I was so curious. And I was like, I gotta turn those knobs, right? So I turned them, and it cranked up the wind farm like propellers so fast, and they got so loud. And because they got so loud, it just killed all the whales.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get into that story later.
Yeah,
but,
some guys said,
more in
hey,
depth.
turn down those knobs. It's so loud over there. So I turned down the knobs because the knobs, they controlled the
volume.
And then I ate the rest of my graham crackers.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm a bit rusty.
A little rusty there. Let's go back to
little
Chat
rusty.
GPT.
A little rusty
Writing
there.
the stories, I think.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. So knowing nothing about why I've been gone. Can you guys notice anything different about how I look? I did a little something new.
I think you got a haircut.
Haircut?
Yeah.
No, not there. Not
Well,
there.
see, the last time I was here on the show with you guys, Max, I think you were wearing dark rim glasses, and this time you're wearing white rim glasses.
Oh, that's actually probably true. Actually,
Probably true.
Yeah.
probably true. Yeah, I do
think
have white
so.
glasses. I have black glasses. I
Okay,
got some blue
yeah.
glasses. But what I was going for is I had a hip surgery. You guys couldn't tell.
Oh, wow.
Sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Well,
were gone
yeah.
there for a bit. August was a busy month.
Yes.
For us. August started like this. Also, this is a segment. This segment is called
Uh-oh.
What's New?
New.
What's
Johnny.
new with you?
What's
new? Hey, Johnny. What's new with you guys?
Yeah.
This song used to be about Don. But Don
is
quit
gone.
the show. Don doesn't love you anymore. So we
he's
stole
having
his
prostate
song.
surgery.
Don said, we don't love you. So he quit the show. Don
Where are you
left.
at, Don?
Oh, what's new? Ow!
Yeah.
Can you dig it?
Okay, I gotta say, he had the coolest song.
Friggin' Don, man.
We do have to use it for something else. I'm sorry, Don.
I know.
We've got to use it for something else because you had the coolest song. We can't just leave it out
No,
there.
I'm going to use it for every possible thing that we can. 'cause
There you
it's the
go. That's how you
coolest
do
song.
it.
Every
Yeah.
free prostate exam.
Exactly. oh my gosh, we forgot to. My goodness, we forgot. You're right. Thank you. Going
welcome.
back, we're missing a few people.
We are missing
We're
a couple.
missing, of course, we're missing Don Schlicks because he said he hates you guys and he quit the show. So
Oh, is that
Can't
what?
blame
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
nice.
he doesn't
Perfect.
love-
I'm a pretty despicable person. I'm pretty easy to hate, so I can see why.
So that was it.
He doesn't even know you, Jay. And he said that. Wow.
Chance
Interesting.
encounter. What can I say?
And then Marty. Now, Stu Pedasso, we talked about it. I think he said he couldn't make it tonight because he was giving free prostate exams tonight only out on Blackstone and Ashland.
Yeah, you can swing by.
Yeah, so if you're in the Valley, swing by Blackstone and Ashland tonight only.
Yeah.
And
tonight. So the night that you're listening, whatever night that is, go. He's there that night.
And he's there.
He's there. He said to bring your own glove because he doesn't like using gloves. So if you want a glove, bring a glove, and he's doing prostate exams for you. So
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
very
that
nice
is
of him.
All right.
Very
Yeah.
that's perfect.
It's September, which I think is
Very
a
good.
prostate buddy check month.
Is
so.
that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they used to do that?
Yeah, for prostate exams?
No. They used to do that
For women. I mean,
for
that's still a
breast
thing.
cancer,
Yeah.
right? But I remember there's a local news person. I was always buddy check every time.
I've
yeah.
offered to give my wife a buddy check every October, and she turns me down.
Wow.
I don't know why.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, it's September,
know
so you
why.
can use friends of yours or whatever. There's prostate exams.
Oh, God. Okay.
You got to give your friend a prostate exam this it's September.
buddy check.
Anyway,
So
oh my
Marty's
God.
out there doing.
It's already
his,
off the rails.
that's where he's golly. We're back, everybody.
We're back, yeah.
So
you obviously you had a big event.
Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, August started off a little bit crazy. So August, every weekend in August, I was gone. So first
we had the I'm sorry to interrupt, but we
Yeah.
had the it was like we had the beer fest.
yes.
And then all of a sudden it was just that was
Gone.
it.
Yeah, we did the Brew Fest, which was look. I have the poster right there.
It's in July, right?
No, July. Oh, geez, July 8th. Did we? Was that our last show? Did we
Yeah.
not do anything from
No,
July?
I think we did a show after that, a show or
Okay.
two after that. But I
Okay,
mean,
thank
yeah,
God.
it's
Oh,
been
because we did some follow-up
It's been
shows.
quite a while because so
You're right. So we did Brew Fest. We did some follow-up shows.
Yeah.
And then I was in Oregon for a little bit there. We did
you had a vacation.
vacation in Oregon. We did a big drive through Eugene. And we never even got to talk about that. My God,
No.
we got a lot of couple shows to catch up on.
Yeah.
We did a lot of fun. We did a big drive through Eugene, then up through Sisters, and then into Bend, and then back into Fresno, California. So
That was like what, couple weeks or what?
it was 7 days, 7-day trip.
Okay.
A lot of driving with a 16-month-old in the car.
Wow.
Piece of cake.
So yep.
of
So we
cake.
did that. We did that trip. Had a lot of fun, and then every weekend after that, I don't remember, but I had like pre-op stuff because I had a big surgery.
Yeah,
and,
huge.
A couple weeks ago.
Huge.
A hip reconstruction. So now I have both hips fixed. I had my first one done actually right after we went on hiatus for podcast version 1.
Yeah.
The No Talent show.
Back in 2012.
2012, yeah. We went on hiatus in 2015?
I think so,
Yeah, early 2015, we did.
I think so.
Yep.
Because we started again back in 2018, right?
Yeah.
So at least we can say that this was a shorter...
Yeah, shorter break.
The recovery time was a little bit shorter on this one.
Couple of weeks compared to a few-year break. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a total, with everything, at least it was even shorter with the vacation and everything. But
right.
yeah.
So, yes.
Okay, so you had a hip replacement.
Yeah. Well, actually, it wasn't a replacement. It was a reconstruction.
I'm sorry, reconstruction, not a replacement.
Yeah.
They,
So,
different
go
than
in,
replacement.
Yeah.
Tell us what they do. So he's going in, they kind of scrape the bone a little bit and have it.
So I had my bone, my hip, the ball and socket. So in between like the ball and the socket, there is a sheath called your labrum, and that's what lets everything glide.
Yeah.
That had been ripped for God knows how long.
Is it kind of like a cartilage, the sheath?
Yeah,
or
so it's
similar
it's
to
actually,
cartilage?
and when that's gone, when that's ripped, some people, like, he thinks mine had probably been ripped for like many, many years. So I had some hip pain, but I think there's actually probably somewhat more common people who have like occasional hip pain and don't really understand why. There's probably a good chance they have like a ripped labrum.
Okay.
But a lot of people, their labrum is ripped, but that's kind of it, But I have a genetic issue, so when I have a problem, my body decides to go make it worse. So it was ripped, and then because I'm so athletic, of course, all the sports that I play with different.
Well, no, let's be
balls.
honest. You do a lot of musical theater. And
That's actually
I mean,
true.
seriously.
No, you're right. That actually is true.
And people don't, and I know people laugh at that, like, oh, musical theater, but you don't really understand the amount of like dancing and the physicality of being in theater in general,
100%.
but especially musical theater.
I knew the moment my other hip. I knew the moment that I damaged it, and I still remember it clearly. The moment that I knew it was damaged, like beyond repair. It was like not beyond repair, it's repair. But the moment like I knew it was like, oh crap, this is not something that's gonna go away anymore.
Yeah, you can't just rest it away.
Yes.
It's not a couple of weeks.
Was during a production of Big River. I was playing Huck Finn.
Okay.
It's like a 3-hour show. He never leaves the stage, and he is dancing. And I was doing jumping up and doing barrel rolls and jumping over people. I mean, this was a jumping off of this is a big show. And I'm not, and it was hard for me. Like, I'm not naturally somebody who's like super athletic and likes to. This was like I was practicing a ton and like doing like strength training so I could jump.
I was gonna say, you were training before the show actually.
To be able to do it.
I
remember doing this barrel roll where that's where you like jump up in the air and like spin your body and then land back down. And I remember landing and like not knowing what to do because it hurt so bad.
Wow.
And just being like, oh my God, please can everybody else just keep on singing and like move around me as I try to not collapse on stage.
Wow.
And for the rest of the run, I had I was getting like cortisone like shots for pain.
Yeah.
And then getting like my whole body was wrapped underneath my overalls because I was in so much pain. And I was like, okay, this is no longer like a discomfort. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. So, but you're right.
Now, how long was the run? Like, when you hurt yourself, how many weeks did you have to go?
That was during, like, that was like opening day.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, and I actually have another funny story about that show, is I had, because you have like an ace bandage.
Yeah.
And the normal little ace bandage hooks weren't going to hold up during the show.
Yeah.
So I had safety pins.
Oh,
And,
no.
Dude, I'll never forget. There's a scene. It's a scene in Big River for people who don't know the show, which is probably 99.9% of you out there. There's a scene where it's like Huck Finn and a couple other guys, and they're doing this big song called the Royal Nunsuch.
Yeah.
And I'm like bending down and doing all these things, and I like bent down to sit on the floor, and the safety pin had like undone, and I didn't know, and I sat down, and I like crossed my legs, and it just like went right into my thigh. I was I remember like looking. My brother was in that show actually.
Really?
Yeah, my brother, he's actually looks kind of like Don Schlicks. I don't know if you know that. He's very similar.
Oh, yeah.
He was in the show with me, and I remember like looking at him on stage and just being like, he knew something was wrong. He could just see it in my face. And I'm
my gosh.
like, you got to cover for me. So he got up and, like, did something as I could, like, lean back and try to find the safety pin underneath my overalls to try to pull it out.
Oh, shoot.
So since you had to deal with that endearing pain, let me ask you this: did your understudy ever go on for you?
I didn't have an understudy in that show.
Didn't have an understudy in that show.
Wow.
So it was all you.
So,
Then.
I didn't have I couldn't miss it. Yeah,
Holy moly, dude! Okay, this is gonna sound like a stupid question, okay? But like, where there's some nights where the pain was literally so bad that you thought about going up to the director and saying, "Look, I can't do it. We're going to have to cancel." And we both know that here in theater shows don't get canceled. The show must go on.
Right. Yes, I felt like that most nights. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, that show was rough. But I was so. That was like one of my dream roles, and it was one of those things where I was like, I'm gonna do this.
You're gonna get through it.
Okay.
I'm gonna get through it, and I'm gonna do. And also, it's funny, at the time I thought I was old. I was like, I'm so old playing this role, because Huck Finn's supposed to be like 14-year-old. Like when it was on Broadway.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like the original cast, the guy was like 18, so you can be
right.
And I auditioned. I think I was 25 or 26 at the time.
Okay.
And
you look young. I mean,
at the time I looked proud. I probably looked a little bit younger than I do now. And
could you play it now? I don't know.
if I played it now, the audience might go. 10 years ago. Yeah.
No.
You're like, Old Man River. I am the old man.
So that show, and I also, so anyways, I was a little bit older than like the rest of the cast as well. So I had a lot to like. I was working my butt off for that show. It was something that I was like, this is not the last chance I'm going to be able to do this. I have got to do this and do it right, because I can't like play it my age. I had to play it like a young kid. So like I remember the guy playing Tom Sawyer, which is another decent sized part in the show. Yeah, he was like 17. So it was like me. I was like 10 years older than a lot of the cast.
And this guy's probably bebopping around, dancing, no problem.
And I'm like wrapping myself before the show.
He's like jumping up in the air, staying up there for about 5 seconds. Landing
100%.
perfectly.
I'll eventually get to you. Just hold on a second.
Yeah, it was right. It's like when I did Grease with Darren Tharp when we were, Darren was like.
You did Grease with him?
Yeah.
Well, I saw the Darren one. I think I saw him and Peter in it.
Okay, so that was the second GCP one.
Yeah,
we did the old man. We called it the old man Grease. It's when Darren was like 40 and I was like 27. All the T-Birds were like almost in our 30s or 40s.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually a very good production, because a lot of like good actors.
Yeah. But talented people.
It was a lot of talent, but like clearly we were like, it was like, how long have these guys been in high school? I'm like, my God, they're terrible.
Yeah. Well, come on, they are. They're not the smartest group, right, of guys. So they've been in there a while. They flunked out a few times.
There's like the scenes, like in like the prom, we were like being the bad kids. So like we had like I brought like fake cigarettes, to do. But it was just fun. I remember joking around, being like, "This isn't even bad. Like we're old enough to go buy cigarettes. Like this is pointless. Like we're just old guys smoking cigarettes."
Well, come on. I mean, what was Travolta when he did it? It's the movie version, right? He was older.
Okay, so now real quickly, going back to Big River.
Sorry.
Was that an 8-week run for you guys, or
no? It wasn't. I think that was only like a 3-week run.
Only a 3-week run.
Yeah, but it was a lot of shows, because it was CMT did it. Okay. Not CMT. It was Center Stage. They did it with like. Okay. Like double Saturdays and Sundays, and some like weekday shows. It was a lot.
So the pain was searing, just not searing enough that you had to endure like an 8-week run.
Yeah, if it was like an 8-week run, I would have had to quit. Well, there's no way.
And it's funny. And honestly, the three of us here, we've all been in theaters, right? So we know we could turn this into a theater cast.
Yes, it might have just.
I already have plenty of stories popping up in my head.
But my point I was going to make is that for people out there in the audience, you don't. I don't know if you realize it or you don't, but I mean, a lot of our theater friends that listen to the show will know. But there's something about you just don't quit, on a show. I mean, in other words, it doesn't matter. There are a few actors that will, but for the most part, when you sign up for a show, unless they're taking you out in a body bag, you're on that stage doing whatever. I've had
a body bag.
I've had there's been people in shows with me, actors that have basically been so sick they've went in the back and barfed and came right back on. Went in the back behind the. And it's like this, all kinds of stuff happens, and you do not give up on a show. And I think it's just something ingrained. I don't know if it's ingrained in us when we get to the theater, or if it's just the kind of people that it attracts?
It's both. It depends on what theater you do, too. So
Yeah.
I remember when I lived down in Southern California helping my sister raise her daughter for a couple of years, I actually did one show with the Riverside Community Players down there. I was cast in a production of A Few Good Men, and I was cast as Lieutenant Kendrick. The actor who was cast to play Lance Corporal Harold Dawson really got into a nice little fit of rages off stage, where during rehearsals he would become really combative and very testy. Yeah, well, sort of, yeah. He looked like he was on it too. But I remember there were a couple of occasions where, like during rehearsals, he would like seclude himself underneath the seats, and you could hear him talk to himself.
Oh my
well,
gosh.
eventually he got so combative with the director that they had to recast the role, and they weren't able to recast it in time. So we had to cancel the first 3 shows on opening week because they still did not have another actor recast. And this theater down in Riverside did not use understudies.
Yeah.
So we did not have understudies. So, Eric, exactly what you said is true. I think it's in us, but also when we do theater, we know that we are committed to it for however long we're doing it.
Yeah.
And so also for the love of it, too.
And it's true. It's not just a saying, the show must go on, and there are the rare occasions that they do have to cancel those performances, but otherwise it's like, no, it just must go on. Okay, so that was your first hip. That was your first one.
My first hip.
That you knew. So then the second one now, was there an incident that happened, or did it
I don't remember. And honestly, the other one had hurt me before, too. It was hurting, but I just remember that landing, and I was like, okay, it's messed up,
Yeah.
This one, no. It was hurting, and then
But this one came on later in
this
life
one came on
for
a
you.
few years later,
Yeah.
a number of years later, about 17 months ago or so, right before my daughter was born.
Okay.
I had a lot of pain, and yeah. So, anyways, we were talking. You asked Sorry, I forgot. You asked me what happened to my hip. Sorry, labrum was torn, same sort of thing.
Oh.
Except, let's get back to that. So when that happens, though, is my body has some genetic issues. So my body decided to go attack that area. So because of that, I ended up getting like an impingement as well, just from rubbing weird. So there was like a kind of instead of a smooth, there's like a divot, which caused some like bone kind of fragments to go off.
Stuff,
to press on some nerves and things. And so they went in. They actually this doctor,
and it took them a while to figure out what was going on with you.
Oh,
you
yeah.
had extreme pain, and then you said they couldn't figure out what it was.
It actually took about 14 months for them to figure out what it was.
So you're in pain this whole time.
Yes, I was on.
And people. You're talking when you told us before. You're in excruciating pain.
Yeah.
Like doubling over. You can't paralyzing pain.
Yeah, I was in a lot of pain. Most of our podcasts for the last year, I was hopped up on. I was on GABA. The only thing that helped was gabapentin. And and that's how they kind of discovered slowly that it ended up becoming a nerve issue, because gabapentin works on nerves.
Oh,
normal
interesting.
pain medication was not working at all.
Wow.
So eventually they were like, "Here's some gabapentin," and I was like, "Yeah, that feels all right."
Wow.
So
that's why our shows were so good.
Yeah,
back then.
exactly. Yeah. Sound drunk. I'm missing that gabapentin.
Answers.
So, but they ended up knowing it was some sort of nerve thing, and then. Honestly, eventually it was, my general practitioner was like, "Max, it might be your hip, strangely enough." And I was like, "Really? Like, I didn't know," because the pain didn't manifest itself in my hip. I think I talked about it on the show. It manifested itself in my left testicle. It's terrible. Yeah, a lot of hurt there.
Yeah.
So I didn't know where it was coming from. Ended up being my hip. And so they went in, and so essentially what they do is they made 6 incisions, little tiny incisions around my hip and on my buttocks, and then they go through. They actually, it's kind of gross. They told me when I'm out, they just dislocate my hip.
Ugh.
They dislocate it because they have to. He showed me like this. He grabbed imagine me having one hand and my other hand like one hand cupped, another hand like a fist, going in. So he showed me ripping the fist down. And then he says he gets a little knife and he goes around the whole back side. So that's why they have to dislocate it, so you can get around the back side. And they get a burr and just kind of scrape all the cartilage, and then they start scraping the bone down.
Oh, wow.
So they scrape all the bone everywhere to make it smooth on both ends with a burr, and then they
You got to start from scratch, essentially.
Yeah, so they scrape everything. They cut any of the
take all the damaged tissue
out, all of that.
Okay.
And then he'll kind of just, even the bone areas, they either take them out or kind of, I don't even know. I was kind of zoned out when he was telling me because I didn't want to hear about it.
Can't say.
Long story short, that's what they do. And then they put you back together, and then literally 30 minutes after surgery, I woke up out of anesthesia, and they're like, "Okay, get in a wheelchair. See you in 3 days," and they booted me out.
Wow!
Whoa.
But
Yeah,
you
it's
said they
crazy.
did it
outpatient
laparoscopic.
surgery.
Yeah, really.
Arthroscopically.
Arthroscopically.
Yeah.
So it's all that's why they had the small incisions.
Yeah,
and
I
they
only
just go in
have
there.
all my incisions. I think I had 8. I don't remember. 6 or 8. I can count them, but then I have to take my pants down, and Marty's not here to help me. So
He's not giving that kind of exam today.
Every incision could be covered by a standard Band-Aid. So there's a bunch of little Band-Aids covered.
Now, what do they do as far as the cartilage or does it regrow on its own, or do they do something to stimulate it, or how does that work?
No, just kind of grows on its own. I can't take certain medicines for a while because that kind of like
inhibits,
like especially the bone, because I want the bone to actually heal.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now, is this a new procedure?
So this guy is the only guy that does this procedure. His name is Mark Safran out of Stanford.
Wow.
So going into my first hip surgery, every doctor ever that was going to do it, back then I knew it was my hip. Every single doctor I saw and surgeon I saw from Fresno. I also went to, I was in Cedars-Sinai. I got recommended to go to like one of the best hip guys in the world. And he was like, I can't do it because the only thing we can do is a hip replacement, and you're too young at the time.
Oh, my gosh.
He was like, hip replacements last like 20, 30 years. And at this point, you're young, so you're going to, maybe 20 years because you're going to be putting a lot of work on it. When you're 50 and you have a hip replacement, it could probably last for, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
When you're 25 and you need a hip replacement, it's not going to last that long because you're doing things.
Yeah.
You're going to have a kid. You're going to be, So he's like, I'm not going to do it because then you're going to have a second one, which is going to last even less. And by the time you're 60, you're going to need a third one, and you can't. So nobody would. You can only do 2. Because by then there's nowhere else to because every time you do a hip replacement, I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's disgusting. It's like a hacksaw. They just hacksaw your.
Yeah,
they just
they
hacksaw
take
your
off
bone.
the bone. They attach a piece of
They just chop your bone
titanium.
down. Yeah.
Was it an actual hacksaw or
hip
was it like
socket.
a regular wood saw? They just go,
It's like a wood saw.
like a wood saw.
It's gross.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So.
Well, by that time they should have some kind of cybergenetic leg,
swallow
right?
some pills and.
No,
No,
laser
well, no, I mean,
scalpel?
so they should have some kind of cyber leg, right? You'll have
Right.
just like put a whole new,
hope.
yeah.
So,
Be like
so
half
back,
android, half
so
human.
Back then, I couldn't
Right.
get it done. I was doing physical therapy to just kind of get through life. And my physical therapist, amazing. If you ever need physical therapy, go to Spitzer's in Fresno. Fresno and Clovis. He's amazing, Dennis Spitzer. His daughter was like a Olympic level gymnast.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Who ended up like shattering her hip.
Oh, gosh.
And I think she was at Stanford or something like that. And they sent her to the one guy who knew how to do this procedure,
Wow.
Mark Safran. So I'm doing physical therapy. He says, okay, Max, look, here's the thing. I have a guy. He's at Stanford. I'm going to call him and get you an appointment. But I need you to understand. He has like a multi-year waiting list. He is the surgeon. He is the official surgeon for the 49ers because every 49er, football players have labrum tears all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they used to just deal with the pain with inflammation and things like that.
Yeah.
He's the only guy who actually goes in and repairs them. Like it's his procedure. Nobody else does this.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm gonna make this call for you. He says, I need you to promise me something though. No matter what they do, they call you, you take that call and you go because you're never gonna have another chance. Like he's not gonna wait for you.
Yeah.
I said, of course. I got a call the next day. They said, can we see you on Thursday? And it's like, I'm there. I dropped everything, went and saw him, and he's the guy. So he did that one. And
Wow.
He's done my second
You got
one.
in that quick. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Holy
so
moly.
it's been amazing. So
Wow.
yeah, he's a amazing surgeon. So here I am. I mean, two weeks after surgery, I got my brace off. Got out of the bed. Got out of the CPM machine. Got out of the bunny boot, and then like a week after that, I ditched my crutches and cane, and here I am.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw you like I think a week after,
Yeah.
and you looked pretty good. I was really
Yeah, it was
impressed.
hot. Yeah, you came over, brought me some dinner. My
Yeah.
family appreciate that.
Yeah, I was
awesome.
impressed how you looked. I figured you'd be up
Yeah.
late up, in bed. You couldn't move or
Yeah,
anything, and
and
you were up around
What's
and walking
crazy
around.
is when I did my first hip surgery, I was in bed for 6 weeks in the machine, just kind of stuck. This time, I don't know if he just got better at the surgery or if they did less. Once again, I wasn't really paying
Well, now
attention
who did your other surgery?
Same
surgeon?
guy.
Oh, but you didn't. Oh, wow. So I mean, it's amazing though that you ended up with him because of the physical therapist, but now, or you didn't think to call the guy again, or how did that happen?
No, I ended up with him the first time.
The first time.
First
okay.
hip is how I got into seeing
So then
him.
when you finally got to this point, then you called him.
I honestly, this time I had his office number, and I'm
just called and said, hey.
I'm essentially a patient of his. I just called and said, hey,
gotcha,
can I get in?
Gotcha.
And he said,
okay.
yeah, come on in. Sweet.
So now,
Wow.
quality of life, long term.
The answer from him on my first hip, when I said, how long is this going to last?
Okay.
He said, as far as he knows, indefinitely.
Good.
Okay.
Awesome.
We'll see.
That sounds pretty
Sounds
optimistic.
pretty optimistic,
Yeah,
right?
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well-
honestly, the first one was in 2015. I've had
Okay.
zero issues with it so far. So,
Okay.
Well, and like you said, the procedure gets better because you were laid up for 6 weeks the first time, but now that they've probably done so many of these, they know that
2
it's
weeks,
probably better to be up, moving around, doing
Exactly.
different. That you can do different things. You don't have to
yeah, my
just sit there.
PT's a little bit different. Everything's a little bit different. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
total trip.
That is awesome. It's amazing. What I like about your stories though is how it's like somebody that knows somebody that knows. Somehow it works out to where you get to the right person.
Yeah, and it's all about knowing people, really.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it always happens. Yeah, you end up just keeping good relationships.
It's about being
helps a
blessed,
lot.
my friend.
It is. No, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, keeping
Yeah.
good relationships, and God provides.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So-
it doesn't feel like it. 2015 was a bad year, but hey, I got my hip fixed. So
So that was it. So
Especially when you have constant pain in your left testicle.
yes, yeah.
So let me ask the question that's probably on the mind of all the people out there.
How my testicles doing? Pretty good.
That's why I brought it up.
This is the second one. More of a statement. More of a statement from the audience. They're probably out there thinking, okay, so you told us this big long story, and you guys have been gone for 2 months, and that's it. And that's it. They're probably thinking you had a heart transplant or something.
I know,
Yeah.
isn't that funny? Well, you guys forgot.
Whoops.
I was also in Oregon on vacation for a week. So.
I'm teasing you, man.
Yeah.
I'm teasing you. No, I'm glad you're back.
goodness.
I'm glad you're doing good, man. Because I know you got a lot of there's a lot of health stuff going on,
Smell
and
things.
and
and
it's,
that's right. I also had COVID. Remember, I forgot about that too.
oh,
I had
that's
COVID
right.
for the 4th time, so that made us miss
Yeah.
a week. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Dude, you had COVID 4 times.
COVID number 4.
COVID
Yeah.
number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm no medical expert, but I thought that the more you got COVID, the less likely you were to get it
No,
again.
nobody knows anything about COVID.
So then everything they've all said about building up natural stimuli to it and
Immunity?
the herd immunity, that all just out the window,
Well,
right?
I mean, I think it's kind of like the flu. I mean, there's some herd immunity. You don't get it as bad.
right. It's a
you
more
know?
aggressive
Yeah.
strain of the influenza.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that
it
makes
was-
sense.
It was,
Okay.
this time it was about a week of. Actually, this time, this was a weird one. I couldn't stop sweating. And my buddy, a friend of the show, Ray, I went and saw him. I believe him and his child gave it to me.
Okay. Oh, we know
Yeah.
who it is.
Wear your mask.
Yeah, I came back home and literally in the car ride home, I was like, oof, like my throat started hurting.
Uh-oh.
Next day, long story short, I got COVID, but I could not stop sweating like profusely, just soaking, changing my shirt multiple times a day. Didn't matter how cold the house was. I get a message from Ray that just says, "Hey, how you feeling, man?" And I was like, "It's a weird question." 'Cause he
Yeah.
didn't know I was sick, and I said,
Wow.
I have COVID. Do you have COVID?" And he just writes back, "I'm a sweaty worm."
Oh my
And I
God.
was like, dude, same thing. He couldn't stop sweating. It was like
Wow.
a weird. And then I talked to somebody else recently. Who was that? I forget who. I talked to a third person who said they couldn't stop sweating as well. Weird strain, man.
I wonder if this came out of that lab in Reedley.
100%. Yeah.
Thanks, Reedley Lab.
Boy, right?
Was it Reedley? It was Reedley,
was
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jewel of the Valley.
Yeah, sweaty worm. I love
Sweaty
it.
worm, man.
Yeah, I'm a sweaty worm.
That's
That's funny.
Jeez.
Oh, that is crazy. Yeah, this thing keeps seeming to mutate. I don't know.
Well, it's
COVID.
like any virus, right?
No, but it
You know?
mutates differently. You know
Well,
what I mean?
it's like any lab-created virus that's here to,
If it's not-
wipe out our population and is constantly being worked on in hidden labs all over the United
Just
States.
wait. It's toying with us right now. It goes, I'm going to make this variant sweaty.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my offspring, make them
Exactly.
sweaty.
The scary
It's
part
like
for me
that.
is how many more of these labs exist.
Oh, did
Well-
you listen to the what's that guy's name? Who did the there's a great article. I'll find it. I'll put it in the show notes.
Please do.
There's an article from the what's the
Is it a
government agency that is in charge of like?
We're talking about like CDC or the
CDC or whatever
NIH.
The World
one
Health
of these that
Organization?
one of these that shut this place down. I forget.
Oh, that would be.
the FDA.
It might have been them. I forget
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
They said they assume, and I'll put it in the show notes. But I think he said like hundreds. There's at least hundreds of them. I think is what he said.
Oh, the labs that
yeah,
are around.
Yeah.
Are they
Oh my
strategically
gosh.
placed or in one centralized location?
That's a good.
That's a
I
really
don't-
good question.
I actually have. I did a pretty big deep dive into this, which is pretty great.
Uh-oh. Is this in your time off? Is this what you've been
Oh
doing?
yes, actually, I did some pretty big.
This
deep
is his
dives.
rehab right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I actually found some incredible articles. Here's a good one. The danger of invisible biolabs across the U.S.
Huh. When did that come out? August?
This is from Time. This is right after here. This
Wow.
is about Meditech from Reedley in California. Reedley and Fresno.
You said this is Time Magazine?
This is from Time. And they talk about all of these federal. They come under. There's no federal oversight into a lot of these.
They're showing pictures of this lab.
This is the Reedley lab. Right
This is
here.
the Reedley lab. We're looking at pictures on the internet, and when you post the notes, you guys in the audience can go check it out. It's like boxes everywhere,
Oh, yeah, here,
crap
I'm gonna
everywhere.
I'm gonna put this right here.
This is
in the show
ridiculous.
notes. The headline's gonna be "Secret Biolabs," and then there'll be the notes in that area there for you guys. Yes, no, it's really really incredible. The stuff that you can find about these, because there is actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put together a really clear story
concise.
or else I'm going to be rambling.
Yeah.
I'm going to put together a concise story about this for our next podcast next week.
Okay.
Because I want to get into this, because I found some really really crazy
Scary
stuff about this
stuff.
Okay.
Yes, like some really crazy stuff. I
Okay.
found stories going back to like 2015, 2013.
Wow.
Big
Holy
national
moly.
stories warning that they have found, I think it was USA Today had a whole group of people, like a whole agency that they put together to go find all these secret biolabs that operate, that are funded by the government, but operate with zero oversight, because there's a law that got passed by the NIH inside the Patriot Act bill that says they can operate these with no oversight.
Oh,
It's the craziest story, man.
Wow.
So I'll post these. I have all the stuff saved.
It's funny how these stories never make, I mean, Times, I would say, is kind of mainstream, but they never make like the mainstream news, that would
Right.
really have a lot of people looking into it. Like you're talking, your big three, ABC, NBC, CBS.
right.
These type of stories are, kind of buried probably page 9 on USA Today, or, it's very interesting.
And there's
I wonder
also,
why that is.
This is a funny one. Here's a story here. After months of denial, the U.S. admits to running biolabs
Sure.
in Ukraine, right? The 46 biolabs.
Did
in
anybody
Ukraine.
question that?
Oh, yeah. Russia seeks UN probe of claims on Ukrainian Russian bioweapon conspiracy theory finds support in U.S.
No, but what I meant is that did any honest person after what happened to us in COVID question the fact that they think that, U.S. runs? I mean, of course we think U.S. runs labs in Ukraine,
Well,
right?
people should think that.
They're all over the place.
Of course. But, I mean, I think I would say that at least 50% of the nation doesn't believe it. I mean, 50, right?
I would say more than 50%.
Yeah, at least 50%.
At least 50
does not believe that.
Yes,
Yeah.
at least 50. Probably would be higher, as high as 75%.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Don't believe it. Also.
Don't believe any of it. They
Yeah.
believe that COVID came from bats and
And they probably still
Fat
believe that
soup.
Joe Biden is alive.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Brandon.
This is nuts, man. I can't wait for you to get into this story, because this is crazy.
Oh, it's crazy, man. It's a lot. I'm gonna get you some really nuts stuff next week. I'm gonna dig into this.
Yeah, I do love how all these different stories are disseminated, because it's funny how you see them on multiple different media platforms there, and the headlines are worded differently, or the story or the nut graphs of the story are much different than the other ones, even though they're still somewhat comparable.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, and then that's obviously, we all know we're not dumb here. That's how the media works.
Right.
So, I mean, the old saying goes, Max, you know this, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I have a story here from USA Today from a 20. I don't know why it's not loading though, which is
Was it taken down? Or
probably good thing I have it saved. Don't worry, back
Or
up.
being
I back
hacked.
up my
That's
stuff.
right.
But
CIA,
and
if
keep
you're
in mind,
listening.
this is USA Today, like a fake newspaper, essentially.
Yeah.
They identified, I think this is 2015, over 200 biosafety labs, level 4 and level 3, like highly toxic.
Yeah.
Are level 3 and level 4 the highest?
Yeah.
I think 4 is the highest.
4's the
yeah.
highest.
4's the highest.
And
Okay.
they found most of these in like abandoned gas stations with like zero security.
Wow.
Yeah.
In this article, they talk to like government agencies, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't know where they are because we don't have rights. Like nobody knows where these things are."
Wow.
And I'm
Holy
like, wow,
gosh.
that's great. That's good to
Okay.
know.
Yeah, right.
And then the question is, who runs these, and what countries do they have deals with that are run? Like this one
China.
in Reedley was a lab in China,
Yeah,
right?
China.
Maintained by Chinese
Or a
guys.
company in China, I should say, not a
Yeah.
lab, but a company in China that was
Sure. Probably got funding from the Dr.
falsy.
We're gonna get banned. Dr.
Dr. Falsey.
Paging Dr. Falsey.
You know what's crazy is actually that page is not loading.
That is weird. I know we're looking at it right now. We're trying to load up the page on the internet, and it's just not coming up.
It's constantly
it's really
buffering.
It's really not loading. I have it saved somewhere though.
Well, you're saying that we're going to get banned. Are we going to get branded? Russell
There's prob-
branded?
There's probably people trying to break into our house right now, knocking down the doors.
I mean, you guys see what's happening to him, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But did you see that they just got busted? Literally, the UK
Yeah.
government came out and said, "Ask Rumble, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to take him off the
Yeah,
platform
they want
like
him to,
YouTube and everybody?"
They want him to get him out. Yeah,
Yeah.
they want him gone.
So, what do you think about those stories? Do you think the stories are true, or
About him raping people or whatever?
Yeah, about him.
I mean, I don't know.
Well-
Here's the thing. Like, Russell Brand, I've listened to some of his stuff. He's admitted to doing bad things.
Yeah,
in the
he
past.
just he says no Boy Scout.
He's no
Yeah.
flower child.
So, like, maybe. And, like, but here's the thing. Like, he's not guilty yet, though.
No.
Here's my problem
Yeah,
with it.
you're right.
It's just been an accusation. So nobody knows. You don't steal some. Like, keep in mind, this is his livelihood. Like, if
Yeah.
you put it this way, you have a job. That's his job. You have a job. What if
Yeah.
I said, Eric molested me, and they just fired you?
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, but what? I didn't go to court? There's no evidence? There's nothing. Well, sorry. Like,
But-
that's what happened.
But see, what you're saying there, though, is indicative of the society that we live in nowadays.
Oh, right.
Because even though he hasn't been found guilty in a court of law yet, sir, we all know that the court of public opinion in this day and age is what determines your
Right.
guilt and innocence.
100%.
And that is spread not only through the mainstream media, but social media as well. Because when you get your name slandered through social media, it's a trickle-down effect. And yeah, I mean, you've seen it happen on a number of occasions throughout the last couple of years with other celebrities, sports, and whatnot. It's no longer about guilt and innocence in a court of law. It's about the court of public opinion that matters now.
It's
Right.
a smear
Yes.
campaign, and like I heard
Yes.
somebody else mention on this topic, they're saying that it doesn't matter if he is or not.
Right.
Forevermore, people will just remember him as being the guy who raped somebody.
right.
Like, even if he's found innocent, and even if all this was made up, it's not going to matter, because what's out there now is what matters. And in that first few, like you're saying, just the first impression. It's like the first impression for most people. They'll just remember him as, oh, he's the guy who. So anything he says will be basically what's the word I'm looking here for? Anything he says will be not discontinued, but I mean will be when something is not true, you believe it to not be true is what? What's the word I'm looking for? Why can't I think of the word?
Say it again?
Stating fallacy and argument.
Yeah,
without
well,
enough
no, I'm saying
evidence to support
anything
it.
that Russell Brand states now
yeah.
will be seen as false.
Oh, yeah, conspiracy
A
theory.
conspiracy, or
Well-
false, or not a non-truth.
I would like to take you all the way back to the silent film era. Remember a guy by the name of Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle?
I mean, yeah, Fatty Arbuckle, sure.
Fatty Arbuckle, one of the top silent movie stars of his era.
Yes.
Remember when he was falsely accused of raping a woman?
I don't remember that because I wasn't alive, but
You're right.
I have
Nor
heard
do
this.
I.
I have heard the story.
but I've heard the
So,
story.
yeah,
Long
Rowan is-
story
yeah.
told short, Fatty Arbuckle was accused of raping one
wait,
of his
but-
co-stars.
But first, let's say this: Fatty Arbuckle. You're saying he was the biggest star. I mean, him
One
and
of
Charlie Chaplin were
Charlie
probably
Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Fatty Arbuckle.
that was probably it. They were probably the top. He
Well,
was
then
one
you
of
got,
the.
you got Laurel and Hardy too.
Oh, Laurel and Hardy. Okay,
Yeah.
so the top. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was right there. He was the
He
top
was
of
right
the game.
there. And so he was accused of raping a woman, only to find out later on, after his career was blackballed by the industry because of the accusations, that she recanted and said, "Oh, he never raped me." And so the reason why I'm bringing that up is because that's indicative, again, of the society we're living in now, where you can make false accusations against somebody, and they're always going to believe the person that snitches on you, regardless of whether they are credible or not.
So his career never recovered.
His career never recovered. The industry, the silent film industry, before they jumped to talkies, blackballed Fatty Arbuckle, and his career spiraled out of control. His life spiraled out of control, and he never recovered.
So I'm wondering, what did he say against the government?
Fatty Arbuckle maintained his innocence up until the day he died, and I don't recall how, if any subsequent investigations were conducted on his behalf. But
it would be interesting to find out. I mean, who he pissed off back then. I'm sure there's a story behind the story, right? And what now
a producer, he probably told them something they didn't like,
and maybe it was meant as an innocent slight, like, okay, I'll just show you, but then it turned into this big thing. But
by the way, I'm sorry I asked you if you remember that, because obviously you weren't alive in the 20s. So, sorry, neither was I.
I know. Jason thinks I'm that old.
Well, you have
the
a
Big
lot
J.
more
What are we calling you? The Big J man? What are we calling you?
Big J. Just Big J.
Just call me
J.
Big J.
Big J.
Yeah.
Big J. Thinks I'm that. He's like, oh.
Call me Big J.
Do you remember? I remember Fatty Arbuckle. Right. Yeah, he was a good friend of mine.
All right. I'm sorry I brought it up. Jeez.
No, but you're right. I mean, it does. It goes to show this is actually nothing new under the sun. This whole technique, right?
It's happened for a long time.
I'm kind of glad you brought that up. You know, and we all run around saying, "Oh, I can't believe we're doing that," but it's been done forever.
And also, what makes that interesting too, you have to remember, is that back when Fatty Arbuckle was accused, that was when the media at that point just consisted of newspapers and magazines. Radio was starting to come into its infancy as a popular form of entertainment during the silent film era. And so radio as a media format, while it was coming into its infancy, wasn't as popular as it has since become. And so at that time, the thing that drove the media was the newspapers and was the magazines. You've heard about Joseph Pulitzer and William Randolph Hearst, the media barons. Those are the two guys that drove the mass media hysteria back in those days.
Well, yeah, so if a story comes out, I mean, it's going to be like, newspapers come out daily, but if a story comes out, I mean, it's not like, first off, information got there very slowly.
A different 24/7 news cycle.
Yeah, a different news cycle. And you didn't have the option of really looking things up like we do on hand now to really research for ourselves if we want to. But
exactly.
Once it was there, forget it. It was never going back.
I'm sorry. Did we wander off the beaten path? We were.
No, that's how we do. That's why we're called the No Focus Show.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, I think
Conkling Fatty Arbuckle.
I think it goes to show, though, that Russell is over some kind of target right now, and that's why he's catching a lot of flack.
Ultimately, I think what it goes to show is that we, the general public, need to give him the benefit of the doubt until the true evidence comes out and until he has his day in court.
Yeah, and I don't think people should be able to just get rid. I do think I get it. It's a private company. However, it's not a good thing to do, because I'll tell you what, next time, because it's gonna. The same thing's going to bite these guys right in the butt, right?
Yeah.
Something's going to come out about whoever at Google, Sergey Brin, and what? Everybody's going to start calling them to shut down Google. This is not a good path we're on.
They've been trying to do that for the last 10 years.
Right.
Not only that, I mean, obviously, there other people have said that Russell has a lawsuit here coming.
Sure.
I'm sure he does.
But even though that doesn't help necessarily his image, but, I do like how – some people didn't like it, but I do like how he kind of preempted it, because I did watch that. He came out with that video right before the news dropped.
Oh, I see. I didn't see the video.
Yeah, he came out with the video saying basically there's a lot of stuff floating around. It's going to come out. Here's what it is,
I think we need to discuss this on Pardon the Intermission on our next episode.
We should do.
We should really do a deep dive on that.
Hey, speaking of that, let's switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's do. We kind of asked you before the show. Now you had a lot of time to kind of watch some entertainment stuff.
Yes, I do though. Really quick, let's get into that. I just want to show you though.
Sure.
If you can go right here. For those of you not watching. I found an actual link.
You found but
I want to show you what happens when you actually.
Bill Gates on there?
When you say read this story, this is on USA Today.
Okay, this is going back to the Biolabs story from USA Today.
This was a story written in 2015.
Okay.
By USA Today. It's called Biolabs in Your Backyard. It says a USA Today network investigation identifies more than 200 biosafety level 3 and 4 lab facilities that work with dangerous pathogens and reveals safety records that some of them fought to keep secret.
Okay.
When you want to read story,
click on read story. 404 page not found.
Oh, they shut that down.
Sorry, the link you're trying to access.
I have good news for you guys.
You saved it.
I have a backed up version right here.
You're awesome.
Nice.
So, There it is.
There's the story.
I have the story.
There we go.
And it's a crazy story. So, by the way, that link is in the show notes.
Nice.
For you guys. They're pretty insane stuff.
That was now you did you do that on purpose, thinking they would take the story
yes.
down?
Any important story that I see, I always back it up.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's almost always taken down. But within like weeks, typically, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I found this.
You
And then
probably-
it's gone.
You probably
All of a sudden, they're like, wait, somebody read that story? It's been hidden for
yeah,
years.
that's smart because I mean,
It's taken down.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Interesting.
Entertainment.
Yeah,
We got a little song called What'd You Watch? Ooh. What'd you watch, guys? Ooh.
Yeah, what'd
What
you
been
watch
watching? Ooh.
you did
What'd you watch? Ooh, entertainment. Ooh, that's funny.
Show.
Oh, that's scary. Oh, that's funny. Oh, what'd you watch? Oh, what'd you watch?
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you watch?
What'd you watch now?
What'd you like to watch?
Let's watch it.
Yeah. All right.
So you had a lot of time to watch some shows.
Yes, I had a lot of time.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I watched pretty much exclusively my new favorite show. Have you guys seen this? It's called Bluey.
Oh,
Bluey? Bluey? You
Sorry.
guys seen it?
My daughter's 13, too old for it.
I'm actually gonna tell you what. I'm dead serious. I freaking love Bluey.
Do you really?
Not Blue's Clues.
Bluey.
Have you watched Bluey?
Yes, my daughter's watched it.
The Australian show?
She,
Or
yes,
New Zealand?
Yes, but it's on like Disney Plus right now,
Oh,
right?
is it? Okay.
But anyway, yeah, she's watched it when she was younger, and then she had like a break, and then now she's back into it. I don't know why, but yes.
I'll tell you
So I've
why.
seen a
It's
lot of
amazing.
Bluey.
It's amazing.
Yes.
If you actually like sit down and watch it, it's amazing.
So is it similar to Blue's Clues?
Not at all.
Totally different.
Totally different.
No,
it's
it's
a great
about
show. It's about a family.
Okay.
A dog
dad-
family.
Yeah, dog family. Bandit, the dad.
Dingo. Are they
A
dingoes?
dingo. Yeah, Bandit.
Because they're Australian.
And then Chili Dog, the mom.
Chili
and
Dog.
then the kids, Bingo and Bluey. And it's
Okay.
actually very well written.
Okay.
I think it's actually probably one of the best. I think it's one of the best shows ever made.
No.
I freaking love Bluey.
Oh boy, that's
I'll
a hot
tell-
take.
I'll tell
That's
you-
a hot take.
That
right
Great
is,
there.
show,
that
man.
is.
It's a great show.
I'll say that I have a little bit of an argument with that. Now,
Have you actually just sat down and just paid attention to it, though?
I've watched it, and I think from the most part, what I get is that the kids always want to do some crazy imagination game
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
all about imagination.
Yes, and that's cool. But then at the same time, then the parents get into it, and then that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've watched, but after a while, I was like, okay, I'm getting a little old.
There's great lessons. Every episode is a solid,
Really?
like a solid lesson, and it's not like modern day like crappy lessons. Like it's good lessons. There's actually this really good. Like, one of my favorite episodes is it's Father's Day episode, and Bluey is trying to draw a picture for her dad.
Okay.
The Blue is a girl, by the way.
Yeah, that's the before you get into that's the other thing too, because I said I called Bluey a boy one time,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my daughter's like, it's a girl,
Yeah, yeah.
Dad. I'm like,
Whoops.
why are they blue?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Blue is a girl, and she wants to make this birthday card, and she wants to be perfect, and she keeps on throwing it away. And the moms keeps on going like, "Why do you? It doesn't have to be perfect. Dad will love anything." That's just kind of this whole bit.
Yeah.
And then there's she's like, "What's going on?" Bluey, like, you got to tell me what's going on. And Bluey tells a story, and it's a little flashback. And the flashback is his sister Bingo draws a picture, and the mom. It cuts the flashback, and the mom's talking with Bingo and says, "Oh, Bingo, it's perfect," and goes to stick it on the fridge, but there's no room. And so she just rips off one of Bluey's random photos, old photos, and sticks it on the fridge. And then
Okay.
turns around, and Bluey's just there staring. So it's like, in Bluey's mind, it just saw Mom say, "Yours is perfect," and his wasn't. And she puts it up.
okay,
And then
okay.
she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Bluey. I wasn't thinking when I said
Yeah.
that."
Yeah.
So it's very much like, look, kids are going to hear what you have to say, so be kind of careful about that. But then they go a little bit further, and they go, "But you have to understand that people aren't perfect. I'm not perfect, and your dad isn't perfect."
Yeah.
And then she goes to all these hilarious flashbacks. She goes, like, "What does your dad always say when you get hurt?" She goes, "Don't tell Mom." She's like, "Wait, what? That's not." And then it has all these hilarious flashbacks of these games that Dad's playing, like Boomerang. He's like, "You're a boomerang," and it's just him like tossing her right into a tree. And he's like, oh! And then
he tosses her as in a girl into a tree.
Yeah, but like, she's just doing it playing a game. You know, it's like a dad.
Well, you know how dads throw kids around and stuff. Yeah,
And it's like him bouncing on the bed with Bluey and bouncing a little bit too hard, and Bluey flies off the bed. But every time his dad does this, he always says, well, hey, it's a good thing you're tough. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like this really cool, every episode has a lesson like that. Like, look, parents aren't perfect. You're not going to be like, don't be perfect. We're going to love you. Anyways, you're going to make, and dads make mistakes. And then the mom says, and look, no matter what, even though your dad makes mistakes, you still love him, right? She's like, yeah. And he goes, and she goes, because it's hard to be a dad. And it's like this great little thing. Like, it's hard to be a mom. It's hard. Like, every episode's great, but it's also funny, and I freaking love the show.
And your daughter loves it too?
She doesn't only love it. The only thing she says now is Bluey, 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 Bluey.
Now, is this popular form of entertainment streamed on Nickelodeon, PBS?
I think you said
it's Disney Plus right
Disney
now.
Plus?
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't have Disney Plus. I have I use a Plex server.
Okay.
So I have a friend who has all the Plex, the Blueys, and I just get them from.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty long-running show, I think, too,
It's
right?
like 3 seasons, but every season.
Oh, is it only 3 seasons? I thought it was
every
longer.
season has like 50 episodes.
Oh, maybe
but
that's what it is.
Episodes are like, that's the other thing about it. Episodes are 5 to 7 minutes.
Holy moly.
They're perfect. Like at first I thought they were like shorts. I didn't get it.
Well, I think what it is,
oh.
it's kind of like the same with Peppa Pig was like that. But I think what they do is like in Disney Plus, you know, they have like 2 or 3 episodes together.
Oh, is
or 2
it?
or 3
Okay.
of those little skits together, so it makes up an episode. You know,
Got
like,
it.
it's about a
Okay,
half an hour. Yeah,
but I think they might be pressing those together. I think the way it actually airs is like in between other shows. They'll like on probably Australian TV or BBC. In between shows, it's like a filler 5 minutes during kids.
Interesting, because they do that with Peppa Pig too. Peppa Pig has these little short skits, but then then they kind of crunch them together, and you get one.
Is it okay?
The American version, a little bit longer episode. Yeah,
I've never seen Peppa Pig.
So Bluey, huh? Interesting. Well, you're
Bluey.
making me rethink Bluey
Sit
now.
down and actually just watch it. Just like actually pay attention to it, and you'll realize it's a brilliant show.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing I watched was actually I did watch a real movie, and Marty recommended it to us. This is actually a Marty recommendation from months ago, and I finally got around to it, and he was right. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, go home and watch it. It's called RRR.
RRR.
On Netflix.
On Netflix.
It's
Okay.
an Indian Bollywood film.
Huh.
But it's not it's much more Western than most Bollywood films.
Okay.
It is the greatest superhero / buddy movie / action film / over the top Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon. It's 3+ hours. It's epic.
Really?
It's freaking. It's so.
Now you're talking Bollywood, so you're talking they're dancing around.
There's
and
only
doing
like
that stuff,
2
right?
dances in the show, actually.
Okay.
In the movie.
Okay.
Not a lot of dancing. Not dance heavy, but it is very Bollywood-like.
It's not that Spider-Man one, right?
No. This is
Indian
like,
Spider-Man?
This is so it's amazing. There's there's scenes. It's like over the top action, and also like I would say slightly homoerotic with like in the fact that like the bromance is so. It also makes you go like, yeah, I want a bromance like that. Like these guys are awesome, you know.
Yeah.
Is this the one that has Irfan Khan in it? Irfan Khan.
I have no idea who that is.
He was in The Life of Pi, and he was also in Jurassic World.
I don't know.
You know? Okay, never mind.
Is he a big Bollywood actor?
It has Ram
Yes.
Sharan.
Yes.
No, it has A. Ramajaru.
Okay.
It has S. Rajamalu.
Okay.
It has Kamaram Bayao Jr. and Alluri Venkatar. Do those names ring any bells?
No, none whatsoever.
You guys don't know them?
No. Sorry.
I got to brush up on my Bollywood.
But I
I do
mean,
too.
just look. I mean,
Dude,
it's
that guy
like
looks ripped.
oh my
Yeah.
god, these guys are like
Man, he's ripped.
It's like Wolverine. This guy here,
Holy
when he
crap.
fights the tiger, it's amazing. But I mean, these scenes are also epic. Them riding motorcycles together.
So you're saying like it's like a crash? Do they have any superpowers, or are
They're just
regular
not-
guys that
they
are thrown
don't-
into
They're
situations?
not officially superpowers, but definitely 100% during some of the scenes, they for some reason just you have to understand that these movies don't have when they make these movies. It's not like we're going to make this movie to make perfect sense. It's we're going to make the most entertaining
Like an entertaining movie, yeah.
ever and screw everything else. So in the middle of a fight scene, they don't have powers, but like they do in these scenes. Like, you know, they are jumping 15 feet high and doing flips and, you know, doing amazing things.
So they're the
because of
Bollywood
why
version
that-
of Michael Bay then.
Yes.
All right. There we go. There we go.
But like really well done. But like really well done.
That's the difference.
Good storytelling.
Okay. All right.
Just a solid freaking movie.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. Like.
We'll have to watch that and review it on PTI.
You should.
We
Pardon
will.
the Intermission.
It's the best movie.
We'll bring in Max for the guest review.
I told my
let's do
wife it's the best action movie I've seen in like, I don't know, 6 years.
Wow.
I love it.
Cool.
It's amazing. It's great.
Yeah,
It's over the top.
it's really sad, and I hear a lot of people are saying too, like Korean movies and Japanese movies. Right now, everybody's making great movies except the States,
Well,
the United States.
Everybody
except
else
for
has
Hollywood.
freedom to make movies. Anywhere that isn't. All the studios here are owned by China, so every movie of ours has to go through like Chinese censorship, essentially.
Yeah,
Like legitimately, I'm not making that up. That's just a fact. Other countries that don't have their studios all bought by China actually have like freedom to make
good movies.
whatever movies they want.
Yeah.
So they do. This movie is the most anti-British movie you'll ever see in your life.
Lovely.
It takes place during prior
Like
to
the occupation?
freedom
Colonialization.
so while they are still like taken over by
God save the
Brits,
Queen.
Okay,
and the Brits are like just like treating the Indians
really bad.
Wow.
very poorly.
Yeah.
And so it's really about two guys getting revenge on
the British Empire.
the British Empire. Well, rather one guy getting revenge and another guy who's actually like a traitor working for them. The whole thing's amazing.
Okay.
It's amazing. Let's watch it. Go home and watch it.
3
In
hour
fact,
movie though, huh?
It's worth it. It's the best 3 hours.
Wow.
It feels solid.
Eric, how about you watch 2 and then I'll watch the remaining hour?
There you go.
You can like review 2 hours and
Well,
I'll
hey,
watch the
if I could
remaining
watch
one.
that Snyder Justice League and get through
God.
that,
If you can watch that, you can
Snyder
get through
Cut.
anything.
I did watch the Snyder Cut and never mind. I won't tell you.
Yeah. Oh, terrible.
So, anyways, those are my entertainment picks: Bluey and RRR.
Okay.
Your guys.
All right.
You guys.
All right.
All
Good.
right.
Nothing else. You've been nothing else as far as the entertainment for your time down, huh?
No.
All right.
I watched a lot of Bluey. It's
A lot of blue.
Yeah.
Bluey, RRR. What else did I watch? Nothing. I was reading a lot.
Did
I
you?
was doing a lot of reading, a lot of
Oh, cool.
research into
Okay.
crazy things, which is what I kind of do. I get on I'll think of something that I want to know about,
Yeah.
and then I'll just read some. I'll do the initial
See, that-
search. I like
that-
doing the initial search.
That's
and
what I
then
like about you. And that's
dig.
what when we were talking about the topic earlier about windmills, which we'll get into one of these maybe on the
yeah.
next show here.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I like about you because you do the deep dive. See, now when I do stuff, I'll read through things to what I need to know, and then I'm like, okay, I'm on to the next thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like, but you will go in there, you'll look for, all
I
these
get-
articles, like you're deep diving.
I get probably
You have
to
all
the
this
point
knowledge.
where my wife, I'm fairly. I guess I would say I'm neurotic.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
There might be a problem here, and let me and this will answer it. Do you have posters on your wall with like red string going from one picture
No.
to the next picture to the next picture? Do you have any of that on your walls?
Not on
pinned
my
all
wall.
on your
I
Greatest
do.
code
Okay.
breaker
Yes,
I've
but
ever
I do
seen.
them. I do them digitally.
Well, digitally is okay, but I mean, if that was if I go in your house and I see like pictures with these strings attaching with the lines and all that, it's
Yeah,
like okay,
no,
what is that?
no,
A beautiful mind. If I see a beautiful mind going on in your,
Oh, look, Cuba's here, Russia's here,
yeah.
China's there.
Yeah.
then maybe that's a problem. But otherwise, it's good for the show.
Yeah, if it's digital, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, no, you got it.
Okay, well that's cool. Then
You
no,
can,
Yeah.
I'm
you can
totally,
mess
I'm
with the
totally
you can mess with
normal.
the algorithm. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah, it's crazy. So,
Well, hey.
besides that, what did you guys have to watch? What did you guys watch?
Well, Eric over here has been clamoring long and hard about that show Suits. which
Yeah,
is on,
actually, that's a new
Netflix.
You've been watching Suits, huh?
Suits. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen that?
No, my friend Vaughn always talked about Suits. I just have the name doesn't. I have no idea what it's about. It's
So
like a book.
Suit-
I'm judging a book by its cover. I'm
Well,
like,
Suits is about I keep talking about it on Pardon the Intermission. We're on like season 3 now. This is like my wife and I try to get a show that we can watch together. It's really hard, but anyway, she kept saying, "Oh, everybody's talking about this show." So Netflix is putting it back out. It was originally on USA Network, and I think it started in 2012. I think I said when we were
2012.
talking about it.
Yeah.
And of course, it's been off since then. But there's about, I think, 5 or 6 seasons or something. But what it's about these lawyers in New York.
Okay.
And, this big law firm, and they deal with corporate law.
Yeah.
And it's just very interesting. The writing's done really well. It's really, it's really quick-witted. The acting's great in it. It reminds me, like I tell Jason when we're talking on Pardon the Intermission, it just reminds me of like the good shows we used to watch, not like the crap that's out there now.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's a real good show. I mean, the shows I think they're about an hour long, and the good thing is that when you're watching them on Netflix, there's no commercial breaks. So they're about 45 minutes long, right?
Quick.
So it's just going through it.
Yeah.
And even though the characters they are able with, like I said, going back to the good writing, they're keeping the characters fresh. Just when you think that they've run out of, okay, they've done all they can do with this one character.
Yeah.
They flip it around and they make you either like him or hate him again, and they keep playing with with your emotions
the premise,
and audience.
Though? Is it like there's there an overarching story? Is it just episodic? Is it like every episode there's a
I
new
would say
case they kind of work on?
The premise is basically this. So there's a top lawyer in this firm, and he wanted to get an assistant. He ends up the beginning of it ends up where this guy who runs in, he's running away from the police essentially, but he's dressed in a suit and he has a suitcase, and he has all these drugs in there. He actually runs into to this guy that's doing this interview process with all these young, interns, administrative assistants.
Yeah.
So he runs in there. Somehow he gets in, and then he impresses this lawyer. But this firm only hires from Harvard. So now the main premise is that they're trying to hide the fact that he hires this guy because this guy has a photographic memory. He's super smart.
Interesting.
And he hires this guy. And so the premise is that, the main premise is that they're trying to hide from everyone else that this guy didn't go to Harvard. It always keeps coming up. Somebody could find out. And then that's the big thing. I mean, it could bring down this hotshot main lawyer, right, in the corporate world and bring down the law firm essentially. And then, but then, like I said, the story's offshoot, and then you get to see, it's gone on long enough now that you get to see these other characters and other stories. But that's still kind of the main story.
That's interesting.
So yeah.
It's not at all what I thought it was about. I just assumed it was like Mad Men.
Well, funny you mention that because I asked Eric how you would relate the show, and I brought up, is it equitable or is it relatable to Mad Men?
Isn't that
said,
funny?
Yes, yeah. He said it's the legal version of Mad Men.
I would say it's similar. I'd say it's similar to Mad Men, but it's the writing. Yeah, the writing's done really well. And the character arcs for each character. I mean, they keep bringing in newer characters, and it just sucks you in, man.
Now,
it's
were
just
you
good
guys
writing.
Mad Men?
Yes.
Oh, I loved it. I watched it every week.
Mad Men was
did
brilliant.
you?
Yeah.
Mad Men was brilliant television.
Did you?
It was brilliant.
I didn't get into Mad Men.
Didn't get into
I
it?
liked
it.
the beginning. I liked I remember the first season.
Yeah.
I was getting into it. I liked a lot of the parts where it was showing us their skills, like as Madison Avenue ad guys.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of felt soap opera to me.
It got-
I just kind of didn't care. I was like, I don't care about these people's lives. I don't care who they're sleeping
I'll
with.
agree with you that I think it got a little stale. And that's what's happening with the Suits, is that it's not getting stale, and that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, Mad Men, I think, got a little stale. Like you're saying, it's kind of like the same old. Don Draper's going to cheat on his wife, right? He's going to.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just like the
me,
same old stuff. But the one good thing about Mad Men that I liked was the style, was the 60s look to it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It did get. What did you think about it, Jason?
About Mad Men?
Yeah.
I love the first two. I love the first 2 seasons and then portions of the 3rd season. I did think after season 3 it did get stale, like you guys mentioned, but I thought the writing on it was brilliant during those first 2 seasons, and especially the relationships between the characters. The casting I thought was perfect, and I really love John Slattery and the role that he had. He won, I think, numerous Emmys for his role, and then of course John Hamm, burst on the scene with Dom Draper and his character. January Jones was not only extremely hot, but also very talented in her role too. So I thought that the casting was brilliant for it. But again, I do agree with you that it did kind of flatline and level off there towards the end. But the first 2 seasons, definitely without a doubt, must watch. Season 3 portions of it, must watch as well.
And come to think of it, it's kind of the same thing with Mad Men, right? Because Don Draper was playing a different character, and he was trying to hide the fact that he wasn't who he was, which kind of brings in the similarity to the Suits a little bit too.
Right,
but,
exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, really good. Anything?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had Suits. What about you, Jay? Anything?
Well, I've been watching Ahsoka on Disney Plus.
Man,
Tell me that. What did you just say?
I said I've been watching Ahsoka on Disney Plus.
Tell me that again. How do you spell that? What are you saying to me?
AHSOKA. HSO.
H
H as in Hector.
Okay, AHSO.
KA.
You don't know who Ahsoka is?
I don't know what you guys are saying to me right now.
Ahsoka, that's Disney Plus. It's a Star
it's a
Wars
Star
character.
Wars show.
Yeah,
Yes,
the Star Wars.
It's the newest. It's the newest Star Wars show. Stream it on Disney Plus.
Oh, Hayden Christensen's in it. I can't get enough of him.
Yeah. Well, funny you mentioned that. So yeah, this is the show based off of the character, the animated character of Ahsoka Tano in the animated series Clone Wars and Rebels. And so I've been watching this, and obviously not only just because I'm a Star Wars fan, but because I wanted to see if this one was going to be able to best Obi-Wan and Cassian and Andor as better Disney shows. And so far, okay,
Not
Eric,
that good?
Well, okay, it's interesting you say that because Eric and I reviewed it on Pardon the Intermission on our last show, and I was actually eagerly optimistic for it because I thought the previous 2 episodes that I had seen were very good. A lot of good action in it. There were some parts that dropped off, but overall I thought they were good. Now, I watched the most recent episode last night, and after watching the most recent episode, I'm like, are you bleeping kidding me?
Really? So
Are you effing kidding me?
See, I had the total opposite from basically opinion than you did. And
You like Ahsoka?
No, I don't like it. But
I don't like it.
But yeah, if the audience wants to listen to our full review, we're doing almost a show-by-show review now of that on Pardon the Intermission podcast. So
here's the thing, and Eric kind of brings up a very good point about this, is that if you're not really familiar with the animated series Clone Wars and Rebels, insofar as the characters are concerned, you are going to be a little bit lost as to the relationships they try to make with the live-action characters.
See, that's bad writing then, because how many non big Star Wars fans, like person who got into like me, I enjoy a Star Wars movie. Yeah. I enjoy a show. I'm gonna watch it. Sure.
So let's say non-extended universe, non-extended Star Wars universe.
That really limits. I mean, I was having trouble just understanding the what's the guy's name? The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell are these? Why are these? Are there more Mandalorian? Why do they call him Mando? I thought they were all Like, there was stuff in that show that I was still confused about. These guys we did a whole show where they explained to me Mandalorian.
For the uber Star Wars fans, sir, who understand the canon, who understand the lore, and who most recently saw Clone Wars and Rebels, they're going to get this and they're going to dig it.
Right.
But for somebody like Eric, who is a Star Wars fan but hasn't delved as deep into the canon as I have.
And you're a big Star Wars fan.
Well,
you're wearing a Star Wars hat.
I'm a general Star Wars fan. I wouldn't say, I'm not like extended universe, right?
But you like the Star Wars movies.
But here's the deal. They had a show called Andor, which
was brilliant.
Dealt with a character.
My friend Nelson has told me that's one of the best shows.
Yes, it is. The writing is amazing. The acting is amazing. Anyway, Andor is basically one character in Rogue One in one movie that was an offshoot, right? But they've done
my favorite Star Wars movie.
But they did a great job of pulling the audience in, even though they didn't know any of these characters, to pull them in, right? And do this to get them involved in this. With Ahsoka, they do a terrible job. It's basically like you feel like you're not in the club because you don't know all this stuff. I even told Jason, and I said this on our show, I went into and I watched a YouTube video of, to catch me up, like the Rebels and the Clone Wars, to catch me up to all these characters because they keep talking about these people, but they don't show you anything.
And is Hayden Christensen actually in the show?
He is in it, yes.
Like a recurring character?
No, right now he's a Force ghost.
Well, okay, so
I'm sorry?
He made an appearance in the second most recent episode. It was called Fallen Warrior, I believe. And it's where Ahsoka, she gets into this battle with he's not really a dark Jedi per se. His name is Balin Skull. And the last thing we see is they're fighting there with their lightsabers, and he knocks her over a long cliff, and she falls down in the ocean. That's the last time we see her in that episode. Well, the next episode focuses on her kind of in between, like, reality and...
it's like a dream state.
It's like a dream state, yeah.
Right.
And so Hayden
She's not alive, she's not dead, but...
does appear as Anakin Skywalker in that episode.
Got it.
And what makes that episode really interesting is that it goes back and forth between... the good Anakin and the bad Anakin who succumbed to the dark side.
Okay.
And
so, here's the deal. So the whole deal with Ahsoka is that she feels guilty because she wasn't there. She had left Anakin.
Yeah.
She wasn't there when he turned into Darth Vader. And so she has this whole... See, I didn't know this until I have to research it, but she has this guilt. This should be shown to us in the show. but I had to go and research it. Like you go and do deep dives. On
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
was
you gotta go do
I'm
deep
doing
dive
deep
into-
dives on Ahsoka.
into Ahsoka.
Anyway, she has this guilt that she wasn't there, and that she could have maybe not helped him not change into Darth Vader, and so she has this huge guilt she's carrying. So this whole episode is basically like she's in her head, and Anakin is there, but it's more so of her fighting herself, not really Anakin. Per se.
Yeah. So
but
not the best,
that's why he's brought in. But it is him. It's actually Hayden Christensen.
So just to let you know, Johnny, the plot of Ahsoka centers around Baylan Skull, one of the supposed Dark Jedi, works with this other character named Morgan Elswit, who is a witch, so to speak, and they're trying to find Grand Admiral Thrawn. Well, if you're familiar, okay.
You guys have lost me.
now-
You guys lost me on the word
So-
Ahsoka.
Okay, so basically, there you go. That's all you need to know.
Well, here it is. So basically, the whole series is going to be they've got it. They're trying to. Ahsoka's trying to stop them from finding this big baddie that's going to bring the Empire back, then Grand Admiral Thrawn, and then the other guys that he's talking about, the baddies, the little baddies are trying to get him. So it's a whole fight. And then she's dealing with all her guilt, and because she left, and all that. So it's really terrible. It was supposed to be the big series that brought back the Star Wars, because it's been kind of with all the crazy dumb series they put out. It's supposed to be the one to bring everything back, and it's
no go.
Yeah, it's no go. Anyway,
guys, it's been so much fun.
It has. It really has.
Thank you all. Thank you guys for not giving up on us. We are here.
I hope we didn't lose them at Ahsoka.
No, I mean,
boy.
honestly, if we
I'm
lost them
sorry
anywhere,
I opened that can of worms, guys.
if we lost them anywhere, it was during the 30-minute discussion about my hip surgery, which was right at the beginning. Stay tuned next week. I have another 30 minutes about my hip surgery.
And the testicle pain that
we're
followed.
doing a deep dive into testicle pain and Star Wars mythology.
Eric might talk about his prostate.
You're gonna love it. Yeah,
Free prostate exams.
Marty's gonna return and give us a whole breakdown about how his prostate exam went.
Hey, you know what you guys can do? Buy us a coffee. We really do.
That actually would. It would help.
Yeah.
The real reason we're gone is because we can't afford to be here anymore. There's a little thing that's going on called Bidenomics, and it's been
called
it's been
PG&E. Got to pay PG&E.
Did you guys get the email from PG&E?
No, we got to talk about that one.
no.
You got the email?
No, I didn't. What did it say?
It just says, oh, by the way, your rates are going up.
Oh, great.
Oh, lovely.
So that's going to be awesome. Anyways, thank you guys. Really, check out nofocusradio.com. You can do a bunch of stuff there. You got all our show notes. Anything you don't believe, if you're like, these guys are making stuff up, there's not secret
Got the
biolabs
receipts.
all over the country.
Nope.
Nice.
Go to the show notes, because I like proving people wrong.
Max has got the receipts.
I do. I have receipts.
Yep.
I carry. Have you seen my billfold? It's massive. I appreciate you guys. Check it out. Thank you. All the stuff. Vote for us. Rate us. Give us.
Buy us a coffee
buy all the
again.
things. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, see you.
So also thank you, Jason, for being on the show.
Yeah,
man.
thanks, man.
Hey, my pleasure.
Thanks for
It was
coming
a
in.
delight to be back on.
And
with you
remember,
guys.
if you guys like entertainment, check out other shows on the lines on the webs, like Pardon the Intermission,
Which is also at No Focus Radio.
You can also find that at No Focus Radio.
Yeah.
Right there, there's a link to the show. Give them a 5-star review, because it's the only
one we
one that
should be
matters.
getting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Talk to you all very soon.